Folks, happy NFL draft day to everyone out there. I'm Maniac, and this is the show where it's not about next week's episode. It's not about last week's review. This time, it's about a movie in theaters, Sinners, with Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld. So let's get my co-host, Mr. Jake Majka, in here. Mr. Majka, we both saw this just about a week ago, so kind of rare for us that we actually have we kind of had some time to let the emotions and everything sink in for a little bit before we hit the stream.
Yeah, I saw this opening night. It's been a week now almost, which is crazy. It's time flies, but this movie is still fresh in my brain because it was such an incredible experience. I'm debating on I'm not going to do it this weekend, but I'm debating if I need to go again, honestly, to if it's one of those movies where you it all hits you at once and then you go back in and you know the beats and you're like, oh man, this is great. I don't know. It might be that movie. I haven't had one of those movies in quite a long time either. So it was a great time, but sitting with it after a week still feel that way. You know, you got to give it, and you always got to give it the 24 hours to give it the official rating and everything. But a week later, I feel just as good as when I walked out of that theater Thursday night.
Speaking of official ratings, implore on the 5-star service that our team provides from Cellino Plumbing and HVAC. Make sure to use them for all your house plumbing and HVAC services. 716-68-FLUSH to dial up Cellino today. With that said, Mike, as we get into it, it's very interesting. This movie had, I want to say, is about as smooth of a run from press tour, promotion, into theaters and everything. The one thing I got to say is that I knew that Ryan Coogler obviously was successful. I knew that he was acclaimed within the industry, but truthfully, hand up, I was not familiar with this man's game at the end of the day.
It's like he hasn't put out a lot of movies, right? Like it's only been, if you've seen Fruitvale Station, like all credit to you, I have seen that movie, but it is a smaller movie that was very well received. Don't get me wrong. But then we're talking about, Black Panther, Creed, like hits, like movies that you don't think about the director in those movies, right? Because it's IP. Like we're not going to see those. Those movies are effective and incredible because of Ryan Coogler. We weren't going to see those movies because it was Ryan Coogler directing Black Panther. It was like, okay, like it's Black Panther. Like we're going along for the ride. And then it turned out to be incredible. This is the one I'm with you there. Where I was had the inkling of all right, he's done some good stuff. And now we're here and it's like, the next time a Ryan Coogler movie comes out, it's gonna be that's a thing in the culture now. Is a Coogler movie. Like that wasn't a thing before. Like I couldn't say that and people wouldn't that wouldn't have been resonated. Now if you say Coogler movie, that's gonna be a thing from now for the next 30 years, bro. Really realistically,
it's gonna be must-sees. Yeah. It's a generational run, obviously, with all these flicks. This is the first movie he did that was fiction or that he created the story that wasn't based on a true story. So very interesting to see there. But yeah, it just stuck out. There were so many facets. I wouldn't say that Sinners did anything at an, and this is crazy. I think the acting performances were good and the characters were well written. Besides that, I mean, again, that is a big part of any movie. That is a big part of any show, but they didn't do anything crazy. They didn't have anything like that. They just did everything very well in this movie, from the vivid cinematography to the paced storytelling. You fill in all these people's lives and then you have them spend this night together, down at the Juke in Mississippi, figuring out what's going on. But as we get into it, obviously you saw it in theaters. I saw it in theaters a week ago. What was your reaction kind of walking out? Obviously, Michael B. Jordan with a great dual performance. What were you thinking walking out of that theater?
I think you just explained it pretty well there in the way that this is a movie where it's I went in and I'm this has got to be mind blowing, right? The hype got so crazy. It was what could this be? And what it was it wasn't a mind blowing experience. I didn't walk out of there think that I had seen something, like you said, reinventing the wheel or anything like that. It just felt, everything was just so crisp. It was so, like you said, so well made. The performances, the writing, I really can't find a hole in this movie. And it's a movie that we're talking about. There's a lot of movies recently that are like leading to things, right? Or they're like the stakes are the world is ending. In Marvel, it's the universe and all the universes are ending and all this other stuff, right? And this is such a contained story to this little town in Mississippi. And they mention the little different parts of the world. Like they mentioned Chicago, they mention these other parts of the world. But the point is that they're not important. What's important, they use the other settings around the world to mention that how they don't matter. What matters here is what happens tonight at this barn in Mississippi. And I thought that was awesome. Like in a world where we're being told to like go expand out, do this, do that, all this stuff. They were just like, we're just going to put it all in here and it's going to be the best ride you've been on. And it was like, it was just a great ride. That's what it was. It was enjoyable the whole way through. It was like different movies the whole way through, honestly. Like they just, all of a sudden you're just like watching a different movie in the acts. Like they felt very like, I don't know, it just felt very, you could very much tell when we're switching into different gears in this, but it was so well done. And they were all, I would have watched a movie of each different act. Like if each act was another hour and a half of just that part of the movie and they expanded on it, it also would have been a great movie. Just, yeah, it's just perfectly like well done in a bow of like movie making. That's what's the great thing about this experience.
Now, I got to say hand up because I didn't know two obvious things about this movie. I'm an ignorance is bliss guy, plain and simple. I did not know that Michael B. Jordan was playing two roles going into this movie. And I did not know that they were vampires. Again, if this is a spoiler to you at this point, like, you know, but those
are the only two things I knew going in.
I knew there was some zombie aspect, like, because I'd seen the trailers that like something's happening at this like club or this barn in Mississippi for sure. But at the end of the day, I was completely caught off guard by those. So again, it was an ignorance is bliss thing. Ended up loving it as it went along, and a big part for that, as I kind of outlined in my opening statement, was the performances. On a day where we have the NFL draft later, there were a lot of first-round picks, Mike, in this movie. I will obviously highlight the two ones that stand out name-wise. You have Michael B. Jordan and you have Haley Steinfeld. But across the board, you're getting all kinds of great stuff. You got Omar Benson Miller as Cornbread. And then you have a dynamic, memorable performance from Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim. Probably the one character in the movie who actually kind of holds it all together because he can bring perspective, he can bring humor, he can do all that stuff and in a way that no other character really could. So it's kind of crazy that in a movie with all these A-list actors, and I know Delroy Lindo is no slouch on his own, I thought he kind of stole the show there.
No, he did. He was like, you said it perfectly. He was the glue for the whole group, right? At the beginning, as I was talking about, this felt like three different movies. The beginning felt like the setup for a heist movie. Like when you're like, it felt like Ocean's 11 with Smoke and Stack going around.
Love Smoke and Stack. Great vibe.
And it's the first guy they went to. Like they knew where they had to go. And he really was like the energy of this town, goes through you on Saturday night, bro. We need you out here. And he's like, I thought it was awesome. He's like, I need to be paid tonight, tomorrow night, the night after, all that other stuff. He's like, these people count on me. He knew his role, loved it, relished it. It was awesome, man. It was a great performance. And yeah, he was the glue of the group. They needed him because otherwise it was getting testy in there in that house.
You made a good point about the performances though in the world building, because often in these movies it'll just be like exposition dump or whatever. But anytime they were explaining something or lending like background to like the brothers and their activities, it really just felt like they were living. Like they weren't going or doing anything elaborate. They weren't going out of their way. It just felt natural. So that was really well done. Now swinging back to the Haley Steinfeld performance, this has got to be completely in its own range of performances as far for her and her career so far, right? Like everything she's done, not to be rude, has been like relatively like bubblegum, like, right? Like, mainstream approved. In this movie, she's dropping F-bombs. So Michael B. Jordan to come steal that, with all due respect to Micah's cat, pussy. And that's a line of the movie, folks. But Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on, and it was an amazing performance by her. Dynamic character that really lends itself to the story.
Yeah, this is like what's a comparison we can do this to? Like
To me,
this is star.
it wasn't all the
Go
way,
ahead.
but it was almost like 80% of Michael Cera in This Is the End. Michael Cera just comes out being the
Okay.
asshole like crazy. Like it's very much unlike any other character he'd ever played. Like that's what it
Yeah.
reminded me of.
Yeah, I agree. It was the she's set. Like she's set for life. Like she's gonna get. I'm so excited for her future after this role because what she put on tape. Like we're talking about draft. They're talking about drafts at
Oh
first round
my gosh,
performances. The
film out
tape
the
she just put
wazoo
up.
from this one.
That was like Justin Jefferson in the 2019 national title tape. Like that's what she put up. Like it was A+ performance from her for what she was asked to do in that movie, from like being funny to being threatening to being like sexy. Like she did everything.
Vulnerable,
She
threatening,
she like the
dangerous.
range,
Yeah, she did it all.
every single thing, and and then yeah, it was fault. Like honestly, her and Jordan were it was incredible, like near flawless acting performances. He couldn't have, like Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. That's just they're going to be the pairing forever. Like it's going to be like Leo and Scorsese at this point.
Yeah,
With
Coogler
how,
and Michael B are your
but maybe Haley's the woman of this because he clearly like it's weird. Like it was an interesting casting for her to be in this spot was weird, like going into it, right? Because like you're saying, like she hasn't been in one of these big roles, and we knew like like how much they were putting into this movie, and there's how many other A-list actresses that would have probably taken this role and ran with it, right? But he spotted out Haley because of her talent, because she's incredibly talented, and she has the thing about her is she can be selective with anything she does really in life. But also like and I thought we were gonna get like maybe there was one in there or something, but like I thought we were getting a bop from her at that. And I know we got one on the soundtrack, but I thought we were gonna get like a whole like moment in there of the singing. But she just fit the vibe for everything that was going on, and her character, like the way that they positioned that character and kind of what she represented in this whole thing. It was great, man. It was an awesome. It was a great character too.
So far we've been kind of able to kind of skirt the spoilers, so we kind of can choose
We've
to,
done a
like
good
whether
job.
we want to. It's up to you, because we didn't even talk before this. Do we want to get into the spoilers at all, or do we just want to kind of leave it? Because I feel like a lot of people are going to see it, and it seems like
I
the
think we
numbers
should
aren't
avoid
exactly
it
that
as
up.
much as
Yeah.
possible. Yeah.
All right. So again, I
Yeah.
don't think we need to get into the end of the movie to talk about whether it was a good movie, react to, and recap for sure, though. We've talked about the performances. We've talked about our reaction walking out of theaters. So let's go to an overall topic. Are vampires back? Obviously, they saw a generational run in those late 2000s,
That's
early
true.
2010s. This was a great take on them. I was always a True Blood guy back in the day. So now I'm enjoying. I was definitely enjoying the Sinners aspect of it. Having just like the way it broke down, the way it was executed, it was very, very well done. It was just there was a lot of integrity, like we've said, with a lot of the things, whether it was the sets. I've seen people talk about the $90 million budget. This did not feel like it was like, like nothing was wasted. All when there was something was happening in the background, whether they're at the train station, whether they're at the juke or whatever, you have a huge ensemble cast doing a ton of shit. All the scenes were very well done. So vampires might be back, Mike. I don't know. You got thoughts on that? Are you team Edward, team Jacob?
I was team Jacob Association. Had to just got to represent for my guys out there. But the vampires, I think they're back. I think this is no spoiler. This is no spoiler territory to talk about the vampires and the whole situation there. This was in a lot of trailers, like people turning and seeing stuff like that. So we're in a good range. It was a much different take on vampires than I've seen really in movies that kind of humanize them more than they've ever been. Like they were monsters, but not really. Like, and even throughout, like all the way to the very end of this movie shows like how just like vampires could just be any of us, like just hanging out, doing stuff, like, and just kind of like putting that, not maybe, That is the like horror aspect of it. If you're like a kid watching that, now you have like at least the kernel of thought, like, what if there's a vampire out in the world? Like, we don't know. Like, that's what they're trying to go. It's great. They are classifying this. I keep seeing it as a horror movie. I don't feel like this is a horror movie. Like,
It's
they're
more
like jump scares in like the
it's
first
like,
couple minutes more than any of the rest of the movie. Like, they try to scare you at the start. I feel like this is no spoiler, but I feel like it's scarier in the beginning than it is like when we're like full vampire. So I don't know. Like, but maybe it's different for everybody.
You're right. Horror movies are about that, like music, the jump scares, the stuff like that. There were a handful of those, 2 to 3 in the beginning of the movie. Not so much at the end. The end is more
It's
drama,
like a different,
action,
it's different
like,
style. Yeah, it's different styles of horror like throughout. Like, it's like horror. There's horror, jump scare aspects. There's
they try and
thriller. There's
almost get like more
psychological
of a
shit.
horror film with like the dialogue between, sometimes between like the vampires and the civilians, obviously at the juke. I think that's the angle that they try and play there. Speaking of which, this movie's doing very well at the box office, as we discussed. Does have an original story, and it's playing well at the theater. This is great for movies, Mike. Listen, you don't need to be Martin Scorsese. You don't need to be Joe Schmo to know that at the end of the day, we went a little too far in Hollywood as far as like the franchises and everything like that. And we got to get back, if we're going to have, entertainment and everything like that, we got to get back to original stories. We got to have things that we create. And I think what you're going to see is that there's going to be like movies like this, where you kind of have an ensemble cast of maybe 4 to 7, which this movie had. And you'll just look to build a story with them. You won't look to do huge, anything elaborate. Just stick to the core idea and see if you can execute it, because that's what they did here, and that's why they were so successful.
We're getting back from the craziness. Like it really is that simple. You get a couple stars who can act their ass off. You get a great story, and you get a director with a good vision and will stick to it, and a production company that's going to support it and not meddle. And you'll get good movies, and people are going to go see good movies. Like, the word of mouth of this movie, it's going to carry into a great second weekend, in my opinion. I feel like they outdid the projections for opening weekend. I feel like they're going to outdo the projections for this weekend too, because everybody wants to project low on the theaters. It was an amazing experience. It's a movie, I would say, if you have to, like, you're only going to get the best experience if you see it in theater. You'll like it at home. It's not going to be the same though. It's the communal, like, it was so fun for me in my theater. And I realize I have a different experience here in Chicago than even in Buffalo or other cities. Cause like movies in the big cities they're not hurting as much. Like, people are going to the theaters more here. Like, that's where the comeback is starting. So I see that more, but it's an encouraging sign still too, to like see the excitement. Like, I checked the day of, and there was like, 12 tickets ahead of time. When I walked into that theater, it was like 80% full for a 9 o'clock, time showing on a Thursday night. That's great. And I think that it's a trend that with movies like this, like what Coogler did here in this moment, honestly, is going to help the industry as a whole.
Yes.
Like, I feel like that's why this movie matters so much. It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. I gave it a 4.5 on Letterboxd. I didn't give it a 5. It's not like I'm not going to put it in that the upper complete top tier.
What are some of your fives? What are some of your fives?
My fives? Oh, yeah. This is a quick aside here. I could tell you that The Dark Knight is on.
Okay, I was gonna say you gotta have The Dark Knight on there.
Both Godfathers are on as a 5. Let me get to the rankings here. Both Godfathers, I believe, Encanto, Oppenheimer, Get Out, Across the Spider-Verse, Infinity War, Inside Out, Mean Girls, Empire Strikes Back, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Elf, Halloween, Do the Right Thing, Polar Express. Those are my 5s.
Wow, Polar Express sneaking in there.
There's got to be a couple Christmas movies. And those are the two.
Hot chocolate
for me.
But yeah, wow. So 4.5 moves into you're just below your top tier there. I like that.
Just below.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't want to get controversial, but I was watching a doc on Tom Cruise recently. And obviously he worked with Steven Spielberg, War of the Worlds. They had a falling out. Then after Top Gun Maverick, kind of after they hadn't talked in a while, apparently, you know, he came up to him at a red carpet and he's like, you saved Hollywood, or like you saved the theaters with Top Gun Maverick. It was the first one in a while that did a big number. I would almost argue in a fucked up way that this kind of saves the theaters just as much as Top Gun Maverick did. Top Gun Maverick was just kind of like right place, right time. It was another franchise, another sequel that from a 90s reboot that we really didn't need, quote unquote. What we need is original stories. What we need is original ideas, and we need them executed by the best actors, directors, producers in Hollywood. And I think that this showed that this can be done. So with that said, I think this is a pretty obvious one, brought to you by our friends here at Cellino Plumbing and HVAC. Should you rush or should we flush it down the to-do list, Mike? I think that if you haven't seen this one already, you are the sinner and you need to get to the theaters and check this one out.
I couldn't agree more. Rush to the theaters. You got it. It might be a beautiful weekend, but find the 2 hours 20-minute runtime. Doesn't feel like 2 hours 20. Find
208, 208, I think.
Oh, beautiful, even better. Yeah, it's perfect. It's a perfect time, perfect length. Go see this movie. You'll have a great time. Bring the family, bring friends. It's an awesome experience. Yeah, rush to the theaters. Find that time in between playoff games, in between the draft. You know, the draft. Once we're in round 6, 7, you can start heading your way over on Saturday afternoon. Get it in there before the night, whatever works. But get to the theaters this weekend. Go see this movie. Go support original storytelling, and there will be more of it in theaters too. That's the thing.
So then let's, I know we're kind of at the end of the show, so let's cut that right there for spoiler-free people. Don't have to go crazy on a tangent here. Yeah. This is a spoiler incoming, though. What'd you think of how they kind of added a whole ending mid-credits there?
I loved it.
It was great. It was great.
It
was more than any post-credit scene I've ever seen. It was actual storytelling and like linked the entire movie, tied it up in a bow.
Yeah, exactly. It was an epilogue to like a book. It was what it was. It was like, okay, we're gonna go into a different part of this universe and give you a satisfying ending. It was awesome, and it was a shot. It was a shot at like the Marvel and what the industry has become. Like, oh, what's next? What's next? And he's like, nah. Like, I'm gonna tease you that we could do this. Like, I could just like build out a whole universe with vampires and them existing through in the past, in the future. Like, he could go crazy with this if he wanted to. And he used this as like, nah, I'm gonna just tie a bow on this. Then we're gonna enjoy this one. I love it.
Yeah, I thought it was extremely well done. And you got to see Michael B. and Haley. Like, for Michael B., it was essentially the third character he was playing in the movie, because it was his vampire self, and then for Haley, obviously her vampire self.
You brought up the bubble gum.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, that was an awesome look. Like, to see that pop it coming in, like it was awesome. It was such a fun way to end it. Great movie. 4.5 stars.
I haven't seen anyone who doesn't quote unquote like it, so it'll be very interesting to see as things get more spread. But original idea, we love to see it dominated. We love to see you tuning in to What's Trainwreck watching. Mike, I got a little behind at the beginning of this week because it was a little busy, but we got to catch up on T-Lou. We got to catch up on Andor, and then we'll remerge for the movies coming out in coming weeks. But it's a great time to be an entertainment lover. They're on a run right now, so just enjoying
this weekend
and along for the ride.
This weekend too, I will be in theaters. The 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. I can't wait. The fact that I saw that when I was 9 years old and I'm going to see it again in theaters, amazing. I don't even know.
I remember getting taken out of school, going to it at 11:20 a.m. or whatever, and just being like, wow, and like sitting in like TGI Fridays after, just being like, wow. Like, what a movie.
My favorite was the Rainforest Cafe. I was a big Rainforest Cafe after the movies there at the Galleria.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But hey, shout out to everyone for making it rain with us here on What's Trainwreck watching again. Like we said, a lot more to come on that. Huge shout out to our sponsor of today's episode, Cellino Plumbing and HVAC. For your friend, my friend, our friend, Jake, Mike, and myself, Maniac. It's not about last week's episode. It's not about next week's trailer. It is about vampires and sinning and amazing action and original stories. Good night now.